In this video, we are going to discuss two important React hooks, which are useRef and useMemo. First, we will cover useRef and then we will move towards useRef. UseRef is a React hook that allows us to refer to a value that is not needed for rendering. What does that mean is like for example, we make in a state, we make in a this count state and we click on it, like it re-renders. Whenever I click on this button, I am re-rendering. When I need something, like I don't want to render on the screen, rendering means like wherever this count is, that entire component is going to re-render, right? But useRef is going to do is whenever I click on it, the value is going to change, but that will not re-render the entire component. Thus, it will not show on the screen. But calculation will go in background. So let's see its use case. I'm gonna make in a new component form.jsx. In here, I'm gonna make in a useRef. Just look, let's look at its syntax. This is the syntax. I'm gonna paste it here. By the way, this is the official documentation of React. Whenever you need something to refer it again, you can come back to this website anytime. So ref, the name can be anything, doesn't matter. Name it ref, and whatever the initial value is gonna be, in my case, it's gonna be just, okay. I can name it my maybe like first name, because I'm gonna make it like a form. So I attach and submit event listener to it. And when I will submit it, I'm just going to print their values. Let me just make this function really quick. To print it, you're going to just say first name dot current. And if I want to print out last name as well, I can say last name dot current dot value. So let's see. Let me inspect it. I didn't render this form on the screen. So to render this out, I'm going to just render this right below the image. I'm going to say form. So my form is here saying object. Okay. So this needs to be, because this first name is an object, I need to say first name dot current dot value. So let me just type in something. Submit e.prevent default, just to prevent it from refreshing, and submit it to the server. Let's do it again. It says undefined. I'm assuming this does not need value, and it only need is dot current. And one more thing that I missed is on change. Let's say e first name dot current. Let me see something real quick. So when we making this graph. And what do we get in the console? So we just get current. Okay, so that was fine. Current. First name dot current, last name dot current. But when I will change it, so when I will type in something in it, let's change it to first name. Type in something. I cannot really type in some things. Let's just remove this. So we got the last name, but we didn't get the first name. We didn't get the last one. It's because this was missing here. So I need to say last name here. So let's just remove this all, submit it again. We get the, again, we are just getting the last name. Let's just refresh. Okay, now we're getting it. Submit. Now I type in. So these values are getting stored in, but it is not getting rendered on the screen. Like it's not associated with any state. Still, we are doing calculation in the background, thus making it efficient and making it more faster and making it performant optimized. So this was all for use ref. Next, useMemo is the React hook that allows us to cache the results of a calculation between re-renders. What does that mean is whenever a state changes, a re-render in the entire component takes place. So I could have multiple states. I might have a function that I want to change only for one specific state change. So I can like cache that results for only that specific state. Like whenever that state changes, or then trigger this function and do this. And if there is any other state change, don't do that. So let's go back here. Let's cover up this example. I'm gonna make in a memo example.jsx RAFCE. Let's make in two states. First of all, const. I can even do that in the app.jsx because I have. No, let's just stick with this. Call use state. And I have something is true, set is true. False. And I have some function that I can memoize. For example, I have something, it doesn't really matter for now. useMemo, let's put in useMemo here. This is the dependency array that I'm going to put in later on. This function is going to do is just return for now whatever the count is. I'm going to say count. Something like that. But for now, we can even just do is console log to understand it. Console log triggered. And then we can do something complex. So I'm going to have a button. Unclick. I'm going to change my state. And then I'm gonna have something like for this state also button on click. For now, let's put in p tag, something. Let's render this out on the screen. Memo example. useMemo is not defined. Let's just import that useMemo. So count is gonna be the state that's gonna be. Let me just clear this on. Click on increment. It says it triggered. That means whenever the count is increasing, this is getting triggered, right? If I change it to is true, then this function is not gonna trigger no matter what. So let's see, increment. I click on increment, nothing is getting printed to the console. Let me just clear this out, previous one, just to notice like clicking on it and nothing really getting changed. Whatever is inside of it is not getting triggered because this dependency is now associated with is true. If I make it empty, this is still not going to execute and it's going to only execute one time. Empty dependency means it's going to trigger only one time. So that is the use case. Now you can make it complex. Like now that you know, like useMemo, like with the help of useMemo, we can like tell a function how many times it should run. Like, because there could be like something complex here. For example, like I could be running a loop 1,000 times. Whenever my count state changes. So I can do is like let result is equal to 0, result equal result plus I, show the result on the screen, return result. So increment it. It's just getting it triggered one time. So let me just now associate this with count. That means whenever my count will increment, this will get triggered again. This is getting triggered, but the problem is like I'm just not getting the updated result. Let me see why. Console log result. So click on increment. I get okay. So what is the result here? So result, I'm gonna let's just change it to what I can do is 1,000 multiply count, something like that. So if I would be now putting in is true as well, then that means no matter if my state count change or is true change, this entire function is going to trigger again in both of the cases. But if I put in count, this function is going to run only when my count state will change. So that is the advantage of useMemo. And if I wouldn't be using useMemo, no matter how many states I had, this would run because in here my count update and all of that will run again. I hope so that makes sense. If you have any question, please leave that in the comments and I will see you in the next video. Till then, have a good time. Take care. Bye.